Councilmember Gomez.
Here.
Councilmember Vargas.
Here.
President Spinelli.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the open...
Hold on a second.
Oh, yeah.
I apologize for not being as excited as the Saboteur kids when they say.
You're like
Little
like
less
eighth
bigger.
place.
Go ahead.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Publics Meeting Act has been given on December 11, 2024, and is amended by the city clerk in the following manner. Posting written notice on the official bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, providing written notice to the offices of the Daily Journal, Press of Atlantic City, and the Vineland Voice, filing written notice in the office of the city clerk of the city of Vineland.
Chair will entertain a motion that the minutes of the pre-meeting conference and regular meeting of June 17th and the work session of July 8th, 2025 be approved as submitted.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion by council? Roll call.
Dr. Arthur.
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez.
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas.
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
I believe ready for a presentation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's that? Lou, you going
Lou,
first?
you ready to...
Or Hans, you?
Put the front of Mr. Lampard if you'd like.
Hans, you want to go
Hans,
first?
you want to go first, or would you like Lou to... Okay.
This way you can get back to the beach. I'll be a little late for dinner. I'll be a little late for dinner.
Rent that easel out, by the way.
Good evening, Council. My name is Hans Lampart. I'm president of Eastern Pacific Development. I'm an affordable housing developer here, located right here in Vineland. Most of you know me and the projects that I've built. And so what we're proposing is a veterans senior housing project of 28 units. I think I've sent these. Would you like a copy? This? Okay.
Yeah, we all have.
Okay. Yeah, so it's 28 units of veterans housing. It comes, so I'm doing this with Soldier On and two other veterans groups, and they're bringing services, and they're bringing also vouchers, rental assistance. And so that's the reason for this project. So the VA, not the hospital, but the VA facility, they have a wait. I don't know how many units they have. I think it's 70 or 80, and they have a huge waiting list. And so that's kind of what we're hoping to do, is help.
Are they? They're one story, Hans, or
No, they're two-story.
two stories?
Yes. Yes. Yes, sir. Uh-huh. Yeah. And there's a common community, building where the services will be provided to each of the residents. So.
And that is a veteran preferred, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So if we can't fill it with veterans, which I'm sure we probably can, then senior citizens would get the
Yeah,
next.
it's age restricted.
Okay. Any
Yes.
questions from council? Nothing. You're good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
was
very
easy.
much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Sure. Okay, great. I look forward to it. Thank you. You can have your easel back. Thank you very much.
Hans, you got to be careful. The rental fee, when it comes, will probably be high. Lou needs to get paid.
See you,
Mr. Magazoo.
Mr. President, members of council, Lou Magazoo representing K. Hovnanian on two proposals we're going to bring before your attention. The first one I'm going to reference is a map that you have that is, we call it the landings at Cedar Branch. That location, that's property that's presently owned by the estate of Albert Ottavio. It's located between Landis Avenue and Maple Avenue. With me tonight, on behalf of K. Hovnanian, is there General Counsel Ryan Benson, Mr. Joseph Lepowski, who's the Land Acquisition Manager, Michael Gallagher, who's the Entertainment Entitlements Manager, and Jason Schulo, who's our engineer. The purpose is to discuss a project that we're looking to do, 89 single-family homes, all market rate. The zone originally sets a minimum lot size of 100,000 square feet. K. Hovnanian is proposing 70 by 160, which is 11,200 square feet. We're going to be seeking a variance. We had originally, the company typically would like to do rezoning. However, both your city attorney and the city planner indicate that's not the preference of the city. They would prefer that we go for a variance. The main reason we're here tonight is because although a sewer main is available in adjacent on Landis Avenue, the project site is only partially in the sewer service area as designated by the state. We would request an amendment to the water quality plan such that the entire property would become part of the sewer service area. We understand that we'd have to go with Landis Sewage Authority and deal with them. We also understand we'd have to go before the zoning board for the variance. But before we go through that process, we wanted to get the council's temperature as to the concept of the extension of the sewer service area. We have also some boards to give you a sense of the kind of homes we're talking about, just in terms of the visual. Joe, if we could just show them, and then. And I think, you know what, if you can, yeah, that's the site. If you'd like, we can also have the young man put them up on the video if you want.
Good.
Okay.
And that's right in front of us, so.
Okay, you're good. Okay.
The site plan's up, so.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So these are, Joe, I'll let you maybe come up here and describe the homes, and I'll.
At this community, we'll be offering our latest generation of home designs. The first, the board there is showing our 40-foot wide two-story homes. Each of the homes have a two-car garage, 3 to 4 bedrooms, and they will be built on a basement. We will also be offering one of our 50-foot wide homes. Again, these are sort of our latest generation of home designs, both in terms of floor plans and elevations. And each of the homes will have option of 3 separate elevation types with varying materials, stone and additional masonry in the upgraded elevations to provide for a more varied streetscape. And so when two customers purchase the same model, it will look like 2 different homes from a streetscape perspective. So, price point. Yeah, in the we're looking at high fives to mid sixes in as far as the initial base price. We expect with upgrades to get to the high sixes, and hopefully, if the market continues, sevens.
Excuse me, sir, for the record, could you state your name? Yeah.
Yes, my name is Joseph Lipanovsky.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I know initially, when we've met, this was 55 and older, active 55. What was the reason for changing?
There was, I think, and I was not involved in those very early conversations, but I understand that that was a consequence of discussions with the town, that the market would be a better play there. Joe, you were involved in those meetings?
Yeah, I was in the discussions where what it really came down to was our typical age-restricted homes are 40-foot wide. We put them on 55-foot lots. That's kind of the program that we have up and down the state. But the city thought that our lot widths were too narrow, and for wider lots like we're proposing here, we transitioned to market rate homes.
Also, as you're aware, Mr. President, other members may not be aware, there's also discussions with another project that K. Hovnanian is working on that's going to have about 350 over 55. That will take a good part of the market also. So I think those two elements together are the reason why you've got this change that we would be moving forward with.
What was the city asking you to, for the active 55, what was the lot size they were asking for?
They were asking for 60-foot wide lots.
Instead of 55?
The difference, yeah, it seems kind of trivial, but in, you know, when we look at the balance between the number of homes and the infrastructure costs associated with developing that property, it did make a significant difference in the number of homes that we lost. We were sort of on the edge in it being a feasible community for us, but when we had to go with bigger lots, we lost the density, and it did make it viable for us.
There's also the stormwater, and we've got an engineer here also to answer some engineering questions if you have them, because one of the other implications, ever-evolving, ever more difficult stormwater management rules from the state of New Jersey eats up more and more land, so as a consequence, you lose more, and I think that's another reason why we look at the market, because of what the parcel allowed. I have Mr. Shulo here, though, who's our engineer, if you want to have him ask any questions.
I mean, you know, I think the biggest concern, I mean, lot size is probably still going to be an issue, my guess is going to be. But that being said, is when you have single-family homes, you tend to have families, where active adults tend to be one or two people, and it's a bigger drain on the sewer system, so the infrastructure gets a little bit more stressed out. So that would be a concern that I would have, but you know, it's up to planning, first of all.
Correct.
You know, to make those changes or not. And we'll see where it goes, and, you know, planning does its thing, and then they let us know.
Before we can go to that point, though, we just need some indication, not necessarily tonight, but we want to bring it before council, so council could give us some direction with respect to the sewer service area extension, because if we're not going to get that, it makes no sense to even go before the planning process. If there's at least an openness to that, then we would go through the process. And of course, to your point, planning would set lots of parameters that we would have to live with.
Go ahead, Rich.
But this is,
And so the sewer service area will be based upon the smaller lots. And so I think that the real question is whether planning is going to allow a variance for those lots. And if so, then council can certainly consider extending the sewer service area. But I don't know if you can give any kind of indication of your willingness to extend the sewer service area and include 70-foot lots when it's not even been considered at this point.
now this is, again, we're talking about the Tatavia property, not the second one.
Yes.
The thought would be, again, to present to council, have council consider it, and then frankly, working contemporaneously with planning on the issues that Mr. Tanetta raises. But it just doesn't make sense to go through the expense of the process and the dialogue if, in fact, council says we're not interested. Now, I want to be clear, much of that area is already covered. It's near the shop. Unfortunately, it's not all of it is because of the sewer service area of the state. There's also no question that Land and Sewage Authority would have capacity to do it. But had the map been just slightly different, we wouldn't even be here as to this site. The other site's a different story, but as to this site, we're in the proximity already of the area. It's just an extension that we're looking for.
Unfortunately, I think, and I will speak for myself, 70-foot lots, we're 90 downtown, I believe, right? If we were to build in the center city? The
I
new
think they're smaller than
construction?
90, but I think that there are, I think they're actually, Ryan, they're actually 60-foot Center City?
65 in center city. So you're looking at 70 in a residential area that's, go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Oh, I see Cedar Branch automatically, I'm thinking of water. This property will be able to put basins in?
Mr. Schuler is the engineer. I'll have him speak to that.
Good evening, everybody. So, for the record, Jason Schulo, SCIULLO, professional engineer and planner, consultant for KHOV. That concept plan that's on the board now, you'll see in the bottom left corner where Cedar Branch runs through, that portion we can't develop because of flood hazard area. And the soils near that and up into generally the middle of the site where there's a little bit of a crest, they're pretty good. The deep seasonal high, it rises a good amount. When you go to the northern end against Maple, there's a wetland ditch that runs along the road, and that portion is a little bit hairier, but we can do basements with, what were they calling them? The English basements, yeah. So like half in, half out. Not quite walk out, but just a slightly elevated basement level. Done it in other places, and it works pretty well, so it'll help us with soil import and deal with stormwater management.
Like the
but-
4-foot-high basement kind of things?
Yeah, generally, so the garage will still be at normal level, and then you just have to step up a little
Right.
bit. It's not quite a split level, it'll be basement down, half in the ground.
Right.
Pretty interesting. But it gives us an opportunity to do a different type home, a lot of different types of homes on the same site, so it gives some variety. When we looked at the sewer, to talk about that, and that one that's on the screen now, the yellow is the sewer service area. That's the limit of it. So you'll see it's on the east side, we have a little bit. The neighborhood across the creek is fully serviced. Because of the depth of the main that's inland, we can just run a gravity sewer straight up through the site. It's not complicated. It's just not in the sewer service area currently. So when I talked to the folks at LSA, and they were kind enough to share some information, the main is older, but it's been in service for quite a while. So we have to evaluate the pump station. We anticipate major issues, if any. But of course, if an upgrade will be needed, we would handle that as the developer. So, yeah, this is unusual in that we'd have to do when I say not unusual anymore, the water quality management plan amendment adds a lot of time and cost, but otherwise it's a pretty straightforward development process.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Liz? Al?
The only other point I would make about the lot sizes, and just in the context of just trying to get some sense of the extension, we would have to come back with planning anyway with respect to what they would agree to. So this is just to move the ball down the field to frankly see whether it pencils it out, because the next thing that would happen, if council, and I'm not looking for a resolution tonight, but if council was,
No, you're good. Finish your thought.
if council was open to the concept generally because of the fact of the proximity of what's already there, we would then still have to work with planning as to what they would approve or what they could recommend. And then frankly, we have to see whether the numbers work from our perspective. So at least to be able to move the ball down the field, just the concept of council considering it, deliberating on it, not necessarily making a decision tonight, and then making some recommendation that would say, subject to planning department's recommendations, there could be the opportunity to extend
Well, I think-
philosophically.
Lou, I think, and you've sat in this seat, council considers everything.
Yep,
We don't know what planning's gonna come back with,
sure.
all right? And quite frankly, we have those discussions when they come back with, with what they have, because we talked to Ryan and Kathy as well. So I don't think we really commit to yes or no.
I understand. I wasn't looking for specific commitment, but rather background as to where, in terms of moving forward. Do you want to add something?
Well, I want to just point out that the sewer service area extension isn't specific to this project. Anything that would get developed on the site would likely need it. So it's to kind of pave the way for whatever would come on the site, if not us. So I feel like, the investment by KHOB to do it, obviously we want support, but I think it's going to have to be done at some point, no matter what.
Well, the sewer extension really isn't us, that's the LSA.
Well, but we need a resolution.
You'll need a resolution.
Body to then go
But
forward.
my thinking is the resolution will come after you know what the project's gonna be. I mean, we're not gonna put a resolution out and change it, and then the project doesn't go. So I would say to you, go present your plan, and then when you come back, like I said, we consider everything. We don't shut anything off, and that conversation will be had.
All right, anything else? We appreciate that. Now, let me just discuss, if I may, the second project, which is, which is located between Hansbridge Road and Pennsylvania Avenue. You would know it as where the UMH Fairview Manor is. It's 131.5 acres. There's a discussion, this is different than what I presented in that there is no adjacent sewer service area. This would be the same type of request, though, that council would consider an extension subject to a project that would be determined. We have, I think you've got, is that Joe? Yep. Joe, why don't you just come and speak to that? It's just the outline of what that project would look like. And we're talking about something that would be kind of executive homes that would complement the golf course, about 140 single-family homes, market rate. There's, again, there would have to be significant zoning variances that would have to be obtained by the zoning board. But before we even go down that road, there was just, again, a sense of wanting to present before council about the need for the sewer service extension for the same kind of reasons. These houses are larger and would have higher price points. Joe, if you want to speak to some of the design of the homes.
Yeah, these are, as Lou had mentioned, a notch of an upgrade in that these are all 50-foot wide homes on 80 by 125-foot lots. Similar two-story, two-car garage, four-bedroom homes. So we expect that we'll have 3 elevations per model. So feel free to, Ryan, to just give a flavor. Again, some of these are our siding elevations, but this same model will come with two additional options with additional masonry, whether it's stone at the base or full stone. And again, latest generation of our 50-foot homes, 2,000 to about 3,300 square foot, and we expect to build these all on basements. Unlike the other property, we don't expect that we'll need to have the raised basements here, but that remains to be seen. Price point, we're in the mid to high sevens. Possibly into the 8s with options and upgrades.
This would be, as I said, executive homes that would complement the upcoming golf course. I suspect, and I'm not a qualified expert on evaluation, but my sense is that the number would even be north of that once the project would be completed. I'm going to sense that your direction would be the same, that you'll want us to sit down with planning, kind of have a more formalized plan, and then come back to council to talk about for both projects, about the request for the extension.
And again, I know, just in talking with you as well as with Kathy and Ryan, lot size is always an issue there as well. And, you know, we just kind of have to wait until that all happens before we can actually even do consideration on talking about the sewer extension. I think if a project is going to go forward, we would be fine with the sewer extension, but I can't sit down and tell you that.
So I understand, and part of the other reason I wanted to come here is because as things were continuing to move forward, dialogue with planning, I wanted to make sure the governing body heard it from us as opposed to on the street, just to get a flavor of what the project is, who the proponents are, what the concepts are, and then we'll continue to dialogue with planning and make determinations, and then come back once there's a meeting of the minds, if there is, between us and planning,
Right.
as to what they're comfortable with. This is kind of the first step.
Yeah, we understand, and again, we consider it, we always like having development, there's no doubt about that. And once again, we would consider it once planning lets us know what they want to do, and if you don't like what they want to do, then it's not going to matter. So really, they're going to have the first step, their recommendations. I will tell you, probably 99% of the time, go through with us. So that being said, you know, you're going to know where you're sitting.
Yep. Well, we appreciate that. I know Kathy's recommendations go 99%. Where's Brian Lee?
She's not here.
Okay, all right, well, listen, thank you very
Can't hurt her,
much.
Phil. You're lucky she throws something at.
Thank you for she has in the past. Thank you for the opportunity, and we will follow up after we meet with planning. Thank you.
You got it. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak? Come to the podium and state your name. Holt? Okay. Anyone else? Seeing no one, we will close that portion.
So he's going to speak during the public
During the ordinance.
Mr. President, I present ordinance number 2025-45, ordinance of the City of Vineland in the County of Cumberland, New Jersey, appropriating $4 million even from the Electric Utilities Capital Improvement Fund to provide for certain improvements in connection with the implementation of the municipal landfill non-condemnation redevelopment plan, which is ready for a continued public hearing.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-45 be taken up for continued public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
So move.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli.
Yes. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on ordinance number 2025-45? Being no one, Chair entertains a motion the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-45 be closed.
So move.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez? Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli.
Yes. Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-45 be taken up for final reading and adopted according to law.
Second?
Any discussion by council? Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-45, ordinance of the City of Vineland in the County of Cumberland, New Jersey, appropriating $4 million even from the Electric Utilities Capital Improvement Fund to provide for certain improvements in connection with the implementation of the municipal landfill non-condemnation redevelopment plan. With a vote of 4 yeas, this ordinance is hereby adopted.
Mr. Franchetta, please submit ordinance number 2025-45 to the mayor for his approval or disapproval.
Yes.
Thank you.
I present ordinance number 2025-48, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-48 be taken up for first reading.
So move.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-48, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established the classification and compensation plans for the City of Vineland Research Aid.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-48 be passed for first reading. Now, the public hearing be held on Tuesday, August 19th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So move.
Second?
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
Present ordinance number 2025-49, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-49 be taken up for first reading.
So move.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-49, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established classification and compensation plans for the City of Vineland telephone operator.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-49 be passed for first reading. Now, the public hearing be held on Tuesday, August 19th, 2025, 5:30 p.m.
So move.
Second?
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
I present ordinance number 2025-50, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-50 be taken up for first reading.
So move.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-50, an ordinance amending ordinance 92-83 as amended, Chapter 224, Article 1 of the Code of the City of Vineland entitled Animal Control.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-50 be passed for first reading, that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, August 19th, 2025, at 5:30 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli?
Yes.
Present ordinance number 2025-51, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion, ordinance number 2025-51 be taken up for first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-51, ordinance amending ordinance 84 as amended, chapter 320 of the Code of the City of Vineland entitled Drainage Systems to include therein land grading requirements.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-51 be passed for first reading, and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, August 19th, 2025, at 5:30 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none?
I believe this is the gentleman who would like to speak. Raymond Mora.
Hello, evening. My name is Ramon Mora Jr. I'm talking about this ordinance here. Firstly, I want to thank you guys for, just bringing this up to address land grading and the effects that it could have with stormwater runoff. The events of North Plainfield and Upper New Jersey is a showing of what water can do to a town or property or even lives. Without proper water management, we wouldn't have like cities and landscapes that we do in like Europe and North America and whatnot, all because of just managing water. So firstly, thank you for that. The ordinance as it reads, I do have a few issues when it comes to that. Part of it is because there seems to be a bit of a gray area in the definitions of what is considered disruption or disturbances. Part of the disturbances that it outlines is particularly clearing and tree removal. If a property owner of a larger property that has like a forested area happens to be removing dead debris, trees that fell during a storm, et cetera, the way as it reads seems like they would also have to take that into consideration about how much of like tree removal they can do to maintain their property. So I feel as though the way it's reading according in this ordinance so far seems like there's a little bit of conflicting verbiage when it's when is it property maintenance and when is it like changing and altering your land grading and disturbing the soil and the flow of stormwater. Then there seems to be a conflict where what constitutes a requirement for a permit and what is exempt. It appears as though you need a permit for anything over 500 square feet of groundwork or grading. And you don't need a permit if you're making improvement that results in a minimum improved surface impermeable area. So the way as it reads, to my understanding, is if you were to put a sidewalk in and it was, let's say, 1,000 square feet, normally for a properly sidewalk that's placed, you would have to grade it, level it, and make sure the foundation of the sidewalk's right, so that way you don't create a tripping hazard or anything like that. So in doing that, you're altering according to the ordinance, you're altering the landscape underneath the sidewalk. So if you were to put in 1,000 square feet of sidewalk, don't need a permit. However, if you were to alter any dirt, which is part of the work required, over 500 square feet, you are going to require a permit. And so it seems like there's a little bit of conflict right there. If you're like, another example would be if you're trying to install a patio or a walkway and a patio. Normally those type of projects, you need to take account the foundation. If you put in 1,000 square feet of impervious area, apparently that doesn't require a permit. However, if you set the foundation for that same project, now you need a permit. So it seems to be a little bit of conflict in there. There also seems to be, I noticed the fee scheduling seems to be a little bit disproportional to smaller, medium, and large size residential properties. Seems fair for commercial and large developments like we heard earlier, because they're going to have the capital and the funds from banks to address those type of concerns. However, when you have a, let's say, city center property that you're going to install a French drain system, you may only have to run 20 feet of French drain system in order to remedy a water issue. However, a property that's much bigger, you're going to have to run a lot more line for the same type of work that will now incur at minimum $1,150 according to the scheduling fee, and you're going to have to incur the costs of surveyors, engineers, all for something that is, to this day, not really a big issue. At least, not that it's not a big issue, but it just doesn't seem like it's fair, given that you're talking about you need a permit for 500 square feet of work. However, the lowest scheduled fee for permit, I guess, getting a permit is considered less than 5,000 square feet of disturbance is $300 plus a $100 application fee plus $750 for the review. Review is important, I agree. However, there's a big difference between reviewing a project that's like 500 square feet and reviewing a commercial property like we saw before that's going to probably be over 50,000 square feet. For that to be all the same price seems pretty unfair for the average citizen, seems pretty fair for a big-time developer who has the capital and the funds. And there's just a few more, I appear to be ran out of time, but there appears to be a few more kind of conflicts in there that I think just needs to be revised before it's like a finished product, that's all.
Bobby, could we have this gentleman speak to our engineers about the verbiage in this?
Yes.
Yeah,
My suggestion is that we.
Thank you.
My suggestion is that we obtain a copy of the tape. I'll send it over to engineering and planning so they can review the questions and get some answers. If they feel that there's merit to some of the issues, they'll certainly discuss that. And if we have to do a new ordinance, we'll do a new ordinance. But if they feel that the ordinance in and of itself as it sits is valid, then please come back during the public hearing, and you can express those same concerns, and we'll have the engineer here to address those for you. This is really the first reading, and so the hearing process is where all of this would be discussed, but I'm glad you brought it to our attention now, so we can in fact bring it to our engineer, let him take a look or listen to your concerns, and if he feels that there's merit to it, then what we'll do is amend it.
Sounds good.
all right?
Thank you. Thank you for your
very
time.
much. Anyone else want to speak on this issue now? No. Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on. I think we need a vote.
No, I thought did you vote? Oh, no, you do. Call the roll. Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli? I present ordinance number 2025-52, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion ordinance number 2025-52 be taken up for first reading.
So moved.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-52, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established classification and compensation plans for the City of Vineland radio technician.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-52 be passed for first reading, and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, August 19th, 2025, at 5:30 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Council have any discussion? I spoke to Lou Tramontana today. He called me about this, and he said this would actually save the city a lot of money because the new radios have to get revamped every year. That being said, we'll have it every service. Basically what this is going to be. Roll call.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
Present ordinance number 2025-53, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-53 be taken up for first reading.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-53. Ordinance amending ordinance 2004-25 as amended entitled, "An Ordinance Adopting the Center City Redevelopment Plan Consistent with Resolution 5203 of the Planning Board of the City of Vineland so as to amend Block 3018, Lot 10, 544 East Wood Street, consistent with Resolution 6658 of the Planning Board."
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-53 be passed for first reading, that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, August 19th, 2025, at 5:30 p.m.
Second?
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
Present ordinance number 2025-54, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-54 be taken up for first reading.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-54, ordinance amending ordinance 2004-25 as amended entitled, "An Ordinance Adopting the Center City Redevelopment Plan Consistent with Resolution 5203 of the Planning Board of the City of Vineland so as to amend Block 3806, Lot 9, 112 South 3rd Street, consistent with Resolution 6721 of the Planning Board."
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-54 be passed for first reading, and that a public hearing be held on August 19th, 2025, 5:30 p.m.
Second?
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli.
Yes.
Present Resolution 2025-321, a resolution recognizing Jacob Habershan upon retiring from public service effective August 1, 2025.
Chair entertains a motion that resolution number 2025-321 be adopted according to law.
Second?
Discussion. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli.
Yes.
You don't need to read it, do you?
No.
Okay. City Council has approved that the following matters listed in the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial and be adopted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item shall be removed and considered with an individual vote. All matters on the consent agenda have been presented to City Council during either the work session or the pre-meeting conference and appear on the consent agenda without objection. Their titles will not be individually read into the record, but will be properly memorialized in the meeting minutes.
Chair entertains a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli.
Yes. This time, council members have the privilege of the floor. Dr. Arthur, anything? Councilman? Councilman? Nothing from me either. Entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas? President Spinelli.
Yes. Well, good night, everyone.